I think for me this residency was completely different than any other residencies I have done before, because I like doing residencies all the time because it's always nice to explore new contexts and stuff, but here it was different because it was oriented towards a new production of new work, and also not just a new production based on your interaction with the city or the urban environment, whatever, but it's also based on your interaction with a collection. It was very special for me that the institution I'm working with, that they do have a collection of video works. They have been collecting through years of the festival, and these kind of works acted as like a very productive platform that generated lots of ideas and different questions that I've been thinking about it in the work itself while I was trying to conceptually structure it. But also it made me think about the city in a different way, and it made me think about my proposal in a different way, and it was also good to see how other artists were dealing with the same kind of questions and issues from completely different perspectives. So that's why I think it was very special kind of experience. So basically the selection I made here is like, it deals with the city, sexuality, love, anxiety, power. Yeah, it's many different things that I've been also thinking about when I was working on the piece here. So it's kind of like mirroring what I was working on from the archived collection position, from the collection perspective. So that's basically my idea about the selection of the pieces. And it was also important for me to select pieces that have been done by different artists from different contexts, not specifically from São Paulo, but also from different places, Latin America, Arab world, and different perspectives, which I think that's what enriches the collection. And the most important thing for me was also thinking about what is the role of me, like my role as an artist in this process in relation of the collection. Am I expected to monumentalize a collection of an institution that has been established for almost for decades right now and doing really interesting work, or should I deal and interact with this collection in a more, kind of a different way, in a more, productive way? And for me, I reached the point while I was working on the proposal that what makes this residency special and this initial, invitation for proposals interesting more than any other residencies I have done before is that it's based on a platform that is diverse and productive in a way. In a city that is completely new, a city that is complicated, and might generate different kind of meanings, and might make me think about the proposal and the work, the delivered work at the end in a different way. So I'm very happy now to see the piece installed and see the piece in the context, exhibited in the context of the collection, not only in a show in itself, but also to see it together with other pieces that has been done like long time ago before the work.
Se você quiser, liga para mim. Oi, Pedro. Eu tenho 1,55, tenho 45 quilos, tenho 33 anos e eu estou bem com a vida. Sabe, Pedro, eu não queria ficar assim, ligando toda hora.
In a way, so the whole idea started with my interest and fascination with a certain character in a film. I wanted to make a film at the end, but the film, I always get scared by when I want to make something big, and like, you know, all the artists, we have big ideas and big projects, but when you see it almost happening, you get a bit of like anxiety, and you know, you get a bit scared. And I like to keep always the distance between the actual production and the big dream that I've been thinking about.
Yeah, I like maybe this. Maybe I think for my first suit, I'd want something maybe that I can use.
So this was manifested pretty much in the process of making this work. It started with this dream of making a big cinematic film about a character works in a bank or a multinational company in a metropolitan city. Can be London, can be São Paulo, can be New York, you know, a city with that scale, a city with that amount of money and business and economy. And this character is living and working in this context. He is required professionally to wear a certain type of, he's required to wear a suit for a certain amount of hours, and he is also required and expected to act and act productively under certain working conditions. So that's basically, this was the main point of departure. That's how I built my proposal in relation to that's how I imagined this character in the city of São Paulo and the whole film. And then later on, when I came and when I see the collection, when I spent some time in the city, when I was thinking about this work, this idea in relation to my general interest, that is also it relates to issues related to masculinity, sexuality. The proposal started to go somewhere else. So I was thinking about the kind of where do I normally see that kind of character in audiovisual production, and then I remembered this porn company, which is based in London. It's called Men at Play, and they're very, very specialized in producing. They're basically staging the erotic imagination of businessmen, the erotic life of businessmen. All their characters, it's a gay porn company, and they just produce films for that all the actors are businessmen, basically, and all the actions are happening in offices, lobbies of hotels, airports, fancy restaurants, all the places that you normally expect a businessman or a man that wears a fancy suit to show up in it, basically. I think the suit is the main carcass. If I'm making a sculpture, like you have the backbone of the sculpture, and for me the suit is the main object that builds the whole piece. The suit that comes always with, it's an object that generates different kind of connotations in our heads, and very much connected to masculinity, to power, to money, to security, to danger. Like, it's completely different. It generates completely different meanings and emotions in our head, and that's what I wanted to encapsulate and work on in the piece.